Good morning. I didn't beat it fast enough. Okay. Hello. I need to change. I've been so far behind. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Give me 1 second. Um, saw a video today that kind of surprised me, shocked me a little bit. Okay. Anyways, Linda, Aaron, Angel, Kia, Rachel, Maureen. Hello, friends. Hello, everybody. Yeah. I saw a video where stopped doing the premieres. I have stopped for a bit. I've been just too busy to get things ready. As it was, I posted this one later than I wanted to because I didn't stop them. They're just on pause for a bit because I just don't have time. Doing a premiere takes more prep. So they'll be back at some point, just not right now. Hello, 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 hello. I'll be so happy when this week is done. This musical is going to be the death of me. Tell us what you saw. Trump was asked if he cared about, if he thought about the financial burden put on Americans because of the war. And he said no, that he does not think about the financial burden on Americans because of the war at all. Hey, Kiva. Why would he care? Oh, I mean, true. I mean, I hear you. True. And no Trump phone for you. Yep. Oh, and he also thought that inflation was at 1.7% before the war. That was funny too. I kind of laughed at that one. Like, dude. You're right. And in the end, I'm not surprised. I think the only thing that surprises me is everything he can say out loud. He got his votes. What can we do for him now except earn his friends and family more money? Truth. True. Could have told Maggie didn't care before they voted. We already knew. They wouldn't have believed him. They would have said he was playing 3D chess. When he degrades their colleagues, but yeah. Yeah. The fact that the stuff he says right out loud to the especially to the members of the female press corps is disgusting. It's just disgusting. I think we're up to 5D chess these days, according to them. Possibly. And a 3,000% drop in pharmaceutical costs. Right? You guys want to hear it? I'll probably play it again later, but do you guys want to hear the video? It's really just, you hear it and you're like, really? This happened?
When you're negotiating with Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. You cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all. That's the only thing that matters.
Support journalism you trust.
Possible bankruptcy for the Trump phone. What the hell did they do with that money? Oh, we know what he did with that money. We know what they did with that money. We know. My MAGA sis-in-law is constantly posting memes about treating others with respect or whatever, and she thinks Trump is the greatest. I don't understand. It's wild. It already has. It already has, Aaron. It already has. 3.6 was the pay increase, and 3.8 was the inflation. So it's not a real risk. It's already happened. Hey, Summer. Hey, Jen. Also, this BS about E. Jean Carroll's case going to SCOTUS. What? Oh my gosh. How can you file bankruptcy when the phones were manufactured? So where's the loss? Again, you have to have a DOJ that's willing to actually do something about it. Hello, Eleanor. Kash Patel is trying to deny the drinking allegations. That's fun. Morning, Shell. Trump proposed Golden Dome, estimated to cost $1.2 trillion. Yale's court put the payment on hold until SCOTUS decides if they will hear it. I saw Zohran Mamdani actually balanced the New York City budget. That's pretty nice. Good for them. Oh, big news. South Carolina Senate Republicans voted against the redistricting. Very surprised about that. For now. At least for now. That doesn't mean it won't happen by the 2028 election cycle, but for now, what are they deciding to hear? Jen, the E. Jean Carroll case. E. Jean Carroll case. Good news feels rare. Yeah, I mean, let's be fair. South Carolina is doing a lot of shitty stuff for their people. I'm not. Again, I'll take any good news where I can get it, but living right on the border, I hear far too much about what they do. I saw that, Aaron, Virginia Congress talking about putting an age limit on their Supreme Court, kicking everyone off, putting in new justice, and overturning the redistricting decision. Talking with people is hard lately. Everything turns into a damn struggle. Olympics, and I just can't with that stuff. I feel you. I hear you. What's your take on Trump's additional visit to Walter Reed? He's old. He is an almost 80-year-old man. I mean, Linda, let's see if the Supreme Court takes it up. I would think they won't, but we'll find out. But I understand losing faith in our justice system. They have done nothing to earn that faith. I mean, they won't overturn the redistricting for the 2026 election. Too many people have already turned in their stuff. It would drive everyone crazy at this point. I don't think they'll overturn the decision for the 2026 election. They may overturn it for the 2028 election, though. Or they may try and get it done for the 2028 election, though. Question, how long will they take to decide? That is a good question. It doesn't matter what the original design was. The government has changed. That's why you can amend it. Arguably, very soon after they created the government, it changed once they added 10 amendments. It doesn't matter what its original design was. It matters what its design is now. I heard yesterday that Tennessee won't be notifying folks if they're in a new district. They need to look it up themselves. Shocker. Color me shocked. Yeah. They may do it because this Virginia State Supreme Court pissed them off. Maybe. Yeah, the original design also didn't include BIPOC folks or women, so there's that. Yep. I am here to debate. We don't debate. And you're right. That logic is from the GOP. I read about how many citizens have left the US and given up their citizenship. Oh, yeah? How many? I'm still waiting on Canada to adopt us. The hope is real. $150K? Dang. I wish I were surprised. Wish I were surprised. $76,000 kids have been removed from Texas public schools this year. They're expecting a low kindergarten enrollment next year as well. Yeah. When I say things are going to get worse before they're going to get better, that is the kind of stuff that I mean. $16 million live in Mexico or Europe. Article said mostly Mexico. Yep. That doesn't surprise me either. The largest drop in Texas public school enrollment other than 2020. Most school districts across the country are saying decline in enrollment. Multiple reasons for that. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of bad going on right now. So if you looked at the inflation numbers, so one of the reasons inflation went up, fresh vegetables, 11% increase. Cost of travel, 21% increase so far. Hey, Silver. How do you feel knowing your president doesn't think about your financial situations at all? Eggs are down. So, how many eggs do you buy in a week? I buy like 12 eggs every 2 weeks. You think that's going to help my financial situation? Buy a lot more fresh vegetables than I do eggs. China's struggling with some other things. China's one kid policy has kind of destroyed their economy. They're still suffering from all of the building of housing that they've done. They're not immune, but at least the GOP is openly admitting they don't care about the average worker. If only the people would care. I did buy me a tomato. Morning, Candace. I'm talking specifically about chat. Yeah. Oh, I got you. I know that's not what you're talking about. I expand on things sometimes. People aren't coming here for vacation. That is true. Yep. Yes, our travel, our vacation, our vacation holiday industry is down like 60 something percent. Hey, Dee Dee. Gotcha. You're good, Kia. No. So the problem is the way they fund the building of the housing there is actually like they're at a point where there's a lot of people that are paying for property that has not and will never be built. So the way they do money there is different than the way they do money here. So it's actually not good. Oh yeah, total people traveling is down worldwide because there's a shortage of jet fuel now. So there's less planes flying. Morning, Akicha. Morning, OC. I think I said it already, but say it again. Please discuss the changes in the United States counterterrorism strategy. You mean how they say being part of being against fascism and pro transgender is considered a terrorist act? Imagine what inflation would do if we have plenty of those, Hockey. We have lots of those. Kind of like buying Trump phone. Yeah. Seriously. I mean, Jim, we'll see what they end up doing with that. I find it very difficult for them to say, for them to actually enact what they want to enact. But, you know, in this case, this administration does a lot of things I never thought they would do. So, see, Jared Kushner used a synagogue in New York City to sell parcels of land. No. No, I didn't see that. But I wish I were surprised. If I were That's great. Just great. Good morning, Jamie. Morning, Captain. How you doing, my friend? How goes the grind? Morning, Zorgo. It's rolling. Nice to wake up with a bit more hope in my heart. Heck yeah. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. The news that South Carolina Senate voted to not redistrict, at least for the 2026 election. So that's one positive that has come. Yeah, they really are gross. It also seems that whether or not they fully believe that it's going to happen, there's a part of people in Florida, like in the government, that aren't sure that their redistricting is going to go through because I read a report saying that counties have been told to not get rid of the old maps yet. Like, hold on to them because there's a possibility, at least they seem to think there's a possibility that it will. Guys, thanks for liking, sharing, and the heart me's and everything. If you wouldn't mind tapping that nose, it helps all over the place. Hey, Mission. I mean, I would think after Virginia that Florida won't be able to get through, but who knows? Who knows these days with this administration? We also played the video of the president saying that he doesn't care about the financial situations and the financial burdens on Americans at all. That was wild. I mean, again, capitalism can't function without inflation. The goal of capitalism is to make more money. First off, inflation does happen. Correct. No offense, but saying capitalism can't function without it, I'd be happy if capitalism didn't exist anymore. You can still not have high inflation. I'm going to be making a video about his statement after I get off, because it was so tone deaf. And also thinking that inflation was at 1.7% right before the war. Yeah, it wasn't. It has never been in the ones. Wages should be a certain percentage of cost of living, and they're not even keeping up with that. Make a video about that. About Trump's statement saying that he doesn't care about the financial burden that the war has put on the American people, that he never thinks about it. Yeah, that's pretty actual normal, Silver. They like defending things that they were against. Inflation is now almost double what the goal of the Fed is. Guys, if you're over here on TikTok, please tap that nose. Faster we can get up there, the more it gets pushed out to people. Doesn't care about us. Never has, never will. True. 2 to 2.5 inflation is the sweet spot. Yep. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how things are going now that Miss Levitt is not there. need to play his video over and over. I hope they will. I know I'm going to be playing it. I need to too many things I need to get. Stuff's all starting to fall off. Yeah, Jamie, I'm sorry. What video? There's a video of Trump being asked if what his thoughts are about the financial, if he ever considers the financial burden of Americans when thinking about the war. And he specifically said that he never thinks about the financial burden on Americans. His Truth Social posts are completely unhinged. What's new? I asked my father-in-law if he'd say the same thing if this happened under Kamala. He got quiet and walked away. Shocker. Shocker. Color me shocked. Color me shocked. Yeah, it shows it has nothing to do with the actual thing. It still has to do with identity politics. It's not about the problem. It's identity politics. They don't care about the problem. They care about winning. It's a game to them. I'm going to go too much dismissiveness today. I'll try again tomorrow. What do you mean? You mean from the other side? Hey, Jeremiah. They turned voting into a team sport. The official numbers are 3.8, but we all know it's higher. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it's higher, Vonda. And hi, Vonda. Hey, Denomaly. The one thing, one truth I think he's ever told that he doesn't care. Yeah, that's possible. Literally everything they cried constantly and still cry about Biden, Trump has literally caused and does, and they are silent. Yeah. Morning, Jeffries. Happened to me the other day. I was just typing away and no one was saying anything. No other comments came up. I scrolled out and then back in, and the comments were all there. Interesting. Your sound keeps going away? Hey, Fraser. I'm doing good, Vonda. I am tired and busy and stressed right now. This week is rough. It was weird. I thought everyone was ignoring me. Had to close the app and reopen. Morning, April. That's so weird. I'm doing good. I'm working a musical, a kids with a kids uh acting studio, and it's just a lot. So my brain is kind of like my brain's a little fried. Hey, Eleanor. You did Newsies? This one is Alice. Alice Jr. But yeah, his statement about not caring about the financial burden is just routine enforced. Hey, Deidre. It wasn't shocking at all. And that's the problem, right? Probably in the end, that is the problem, is that he says that and we're all going to move on. That we all have to move on because no one who has the capability of doing anything right now is going to do anything about it. Hey, Lori. Like that is the ultimate problem. Is we're literally living in a world where a sitting president can say, I don't care about the financial burden on Americans. And while it is mentioned, we know the world is going to move on. Joe didn't care. Of course he did. What did Joe Biden do? Oh, okay. I guess I'm not talking about it. No, it's fine. I know you hate. I know. I understand it. But at some point, we need to be able to have those conversations. Because at some point with people, we need to be able to talk about the comparison. I figured at some point he was going to stick his foot in his mouth and get it no matter what. But I was going to let him stick his foot in his mouth a little bit more before we got there. That's all. Thank you for the heart me's, guys. I appreciate it. Guys, if you wouldn't mind sharing this out to other people too, that helps. Also know if you're over here on TikTok that I go live on the tube at the exact same time. You don't have to worry about getting your comments filtered. And starting next week, I'm actually going to be putting together goals that if I can reach them over there on the tube, we'll be doing a giveaway. Yeah. I mean, if their bio makes it obvious what they're gonna, the direction they're gonna go, I'm cool with that. But I would like sometimes the conversation can open up wider if we allow them to at least answer something. But I hear you. We're good. You're good. I didn't complain. Came over to the tube. I like it here too. Yeah. Sometimes I like letting them stick their foot in their own mouth. Before we say bye-bye. Just muted. It's over. We've learned that in general, it's not as necessary to go full out. Oh, you can see live that you're getting filtered? Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty bad right now. The filtering is pretty bad. I mean, again, look at my numbers. I just can't get people to come on anymore. I don't think I'm getting sent to people really anymore. Morning, Carla. Yes. They have changed their filter a lot. Dead? I don't think it'll be dead. It'll just probably be different. I think a lot of the people that use it for what it's getting used for now will change in 5 years. People thought the Bird app would be dead too. I appreciate that, Gravel. You have to check and see if I'm live. When you reject people? What do you mean when I reject people? What do you mean by rejecting people? Rejecting people what? What do you believe that we to come up? Why do you think I should be bringing people up? But you live on the follower page, not the For You, yeah. Yeah, you're gonna start seeing me move more stuff over into the tube space. That's true. If you're in Disky, you get an alert. It's true. Gotta hop off. All right, Kiva. Have a great rest of your day. Appreciate you. You're having all your comments removed now on vids. You mean on TikTok or on the tube? Oh, yeah. Their AI moderator is getting really insane. Like Sounds like somebody's got some tiny D energy there, Jeff. Mm. TikTok is for Democrats. Okay, Rick. Are you a Democrat? No, you're good, Vonda. Not, I'm those kind of people. I don't. Yeah. Then why are you on TikTok? You literally are saying it. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your desire to help me grow this community as much as you guys do. It means a lot. It means more than you know. We staying inside this summer and can't afford it. Yeah, I feel you, Cherry. Only reason I'm even doing the trip I'm doing is because of the generosity of so many people in this community that have helped fund my ability to go places. If TikTok is for Democrats, why are MAGA on there crying about not getting their Trump phones? Truth. Maybe we need to talk about the TikTok shop. I'd probably get more viewers if I sold more stuff. Like if I did more stuff to sell things. You're going to send me something that I can share. Now I'm nervous. I know it's backwards. Oh, no, it's not. If you haven't received your tariff or Doge check yet, just use your Trump phone to call in a complaint. Trump is a drama queen. You're right, tree plot guy. Trump is a big drama queen. Most of the GOP are. I feel so safe knowing that the podcaster who is cosplaying as the FBI director has such a fragile little ego, right? I'm hoping to finally get to the beach this summer. I live about 40 minutes away from Atlantic City. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Didn't go to Carolina Beach last year, about an hour and a half away. You're going this summer? Do it. Do it. Hey, Carla. It is funny to me the way that the economy is growing too fast where I live. Where do you live? CB2. Indiana. No, it's not. The economy is not growing fast in Indiana. Happen to know a lot of people that live in Indiana that would disagree with every bit of that statement. I've talked to many people in Indiana that would disagree with that statement. 60 billion in new construction in Indianapolis alone. What is the construction? What is being built? And I don't believe that number anyways, but ah, okay. Yeah, Indiana's not doing well. Hmm. Hey, Soul. Hmm. Yeah, those Democratas. Those are garbage. Those Democratas. Too many people moving to Indianapolis and suburb. Okay. Where do we go from here? I mean, what do you mean? Like in what way? Yeah. Creating inflation spending. Spending doesn't create inflation. Not by the people that just are living. The actual act of spending doesn't create inflation. People are not moving from Massachusetts and California to Indiana. At least not by choice. Are there people from California and Massachusetts that have moved to Indiana? Sure. I'm sure there are. Sure there are. Sure there are. Those nice Democrats moving to Indianapolis. Turn that state more blue. Love it. Bring it on. Pharma is dying on the coast. Okay. All right. Okay. Oil tanks will run empty. Oil tanks will not run empty. There's a lot of people from California that moved to a lot of places. There were a lot of people that lived in California. There's a lot of people that lived in California. It doesn't surprise me that they start spreading out. They don't need 40 whatever million people in that one state. It went up to 3.8%. Inflation is 3.8%. Like the costs from last April to this April with 3.8% higher. I find it interesting that people that there's this huge belief that, and I understand the worry, but there's this huge belief that Texas and Florida, that people are just going to keep moving there as things keep getting worse and worse. I think 2030 is going to look a lot different than the way it's been looking recently. We'll see. But South Carolina of all states had the highest influx last year. Yeah. And for a while, North Carolina had a huge influx. Still pretty big. People aren't moving to rural areas. They're moving to the cities. Party pony. Thank you, Mission. I'm staying put in my country, New Jersey. Florida is already so bad. Florida is getting a mass exodus. Again, if you're super wealthy, yeah. But for the average person, nah. And the super wealthy don't help pay for things in Florida. My town in Texas is still growing, but that's more people moving here from Fort Worth. And then promptly moved all of it back to Cali. You're barely getting by. Yeah. Alex Murdaugh's conviction was just overturned by South Carolina Supreme Court. I wish I were surprised. Fun. Hey, Shadow. And, Texas is dealing with a massive water table problem. And it's only going to get worse. And electricity problem. And it's only going to get worse. And people don't realize that. People don't accept that. Community people can come up if they want. That's why I think it's funny that people think that that people are going to keep moving to those states, because I don't think they are. I think people are going to start leaving those states again. Inflation is not health for the economy. Not when inflation is higher than pay is going up. When inflation is higher than pay increase, that's not good at all. It's going to get better and it won't be long. Stop. All right. Someone doesn't know how an economy works, but
it shouldn't have to last long at all. We shouldn't be going through this bullshit. That's part of what the issue and the problem is. Oh, and good morning. That's part of what the issue is the normalization of all this whack ass behavior. Like they're normalizing what is happening, and that's part of what the big problem is.
Tom, so I'm gonna do two things. We're gonna have a class here. One, it was disrespectful telling me that I'm fear mongering when I'm not. Everything that I said is either from the government itself or from the president's own mouth. Basically told me that I'm lying. And two, I don't have to let any of you talk. You don't seem to understand how things work. This is my channel. I don't have to let you talk. Ready?
I do.
Ready? No, you don't need to. There. TikTok gives me the ability to do this.
But that sucks. It sucks to punish everybody because of one asshole.
Yeah, but they love it too. They think it's hilarious.
You should just let me. Vonda and I are just sitting there chomping at the bit. That just makes me funny because I know he's sitting there mad as hell.
Censor from the left. And I can turn it back on when I want, because I want people to talk. But if you're coming and you're going to be rude, I don't have to let you talk. I do not have to let you talk. You do not have freedom of speech in my chat. Stopping your own engagement doesn't bother me. Didn't stop my own engagement. People were still liking. People were still giving. My engagement was still going. You think talking is what's required for engagement? You obviously don't understand how this works.
I went and blocked him personally. I don't know if you saw my text message I sent to the sibling chat the other day, but after your live, somebody got really pissed off. Friday. Was it Friday? I think it was Friday, but someone had gotten pissed off because they got muted and they came in my live talking shit. And then they kept making all these other accounts coming in, calling me the fat N-word. And they came in with an account. It had part of my name in it, saying I was a fat cow and all this stuff.
How many? Oh, yeah, his 2 followers and 11 following. Yeah, he knows how TikTok lives work more than I do. All right. Me, who's been doing TikTok lives for how long now? Almost 4 years? Almost 4 years. That's crazy.
It's fun for a bit, and then it's just like, go away. Move on.
Poor lost Tom, right, Mission? Right? Poor. Hey, Shadow. Yeah, it's always funny when people think that they somehow are owed the right to be able to say whatever they want. You're not. Do we allow less than some other places? Yeah. Because that's not what this live is about.
I'm gonna end up having to probably drop and come back because after the comments went off and then came back on, like I can't do any mod stuff. I can't see who's in their guest request. When I click on the guest stuff, all I see is myself.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, Shadow. How you doing?
I'm good, hun. How are you?
Sorry, took a swig of coffee. I'm good.
Who are people of the community? People that have been around. Yes,
I've been
or-
up since before 8 a.m. and I don't normally get up before 10 a.m.
I get up
I
at
just
like
couldn't
5
sleep.
a.m.
Yeah,
Long
like
hours off as well.
by
Fun to
by
see.
6:10, I've fed 17 critters. I've cleaned litter boxes.
Scotty,
Am I-
what Zohran lies do you speak of? Like the one where he just balanced the New York City budget? Like that one?
My only thing about Mom Donnie that I'm disappointed about, honestly, is that he wasn't born here. Cause
Right?
fuck, I
You-
would love for him to be able to run for president.
You believe that. You understand how a budget works, right? Like you understand how a budget works. He has the capability of giving you the information. Like it's not hidden. He's not like this current administration who runs the country who just says things. Makes up numbers. So yeah, I believe that he has done the work and balanced the current budget. Does that mean things can't change that can cause it to not be balanced anymore? Sure. Things can always change. It's like how life works. Things change and you make changes based on it. Time is flying this morning. Sure does that. Hey, Pop. Hey, Shug.
Good morning, Shug. I'm sorry. Like Mike broke stuff a while ago, and I can't see anybody in the guest request right now. So.
Hey, it's all good. Good morning, all. Good morning. Good to see you. Good morning, Shadow. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Kia. Kia is right.
Morning, Shug.
Time to boot Shug.
Thanks, Shug, for the backup always.
Rude.
Yeah, and Swift said, and ask where that person lives. Guarantee it's not in New York City.
Scotty, I am sure you said things between, oh, you believe that, and my time here, but I'm guessing it all got filtered, so I have no idea what you said.
To go off on a little tangent, have we talked to everybody today about making sure they're registered to vote?
Nope. Make sure you register to vote.
Go to vote411.org to make sure you're registered to vote. I did 3 weeks ago. I was no longer registered to vote. If you need to re-register and you can do it online, you'll be able to do it there. If not, it'll give you step-by-step instructions on what to do.
Go ahead, Sally.
Hello, Toots.
Hello.
Good morning.
Just wait.
Stop brainwashing your kid.
Hi, thank you. I am right, always. Always, always. Hi. Also, piggybacking on what she said, if you're one of these states where they're getting ready to gerrymander you, it is very probable and maybe even likely that they are not going to tell you what your new districts and all of that stuff is going to be. So you may end up, you're going to have to check and see where your new place to vote and all of that stuff is going to be. Also, you may have to end up looking up new candidates to do some research on. So keep in mind, if you're in one of those areas that they're getting ready to gerrymander, they may or may not tell you. Each state can do their own thing. So you're going to have to take it upon yourself to make sure you look up and see where your new district is, where you're going to be voting, all the different things.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we said this before. Different things are going to happen between now and November. And this administration will do whatever it can to try and make it difficult, make it impossible, make you apathetic. They don't want a democracy. They want to win by however they can. They don't need to cheat if they can just make it too difficult for you to do it.
You know, WRAL talked about it. They covered the story about, you know, with what they're trying to do with what they're wanting to do about the mail-in ballots and changing the dates when they can be received and all of that stuff for election. At the end of the story, they threw so much shade. They were like, you know, the current, they said his name, talk about, you know, they're talking about all the fraud that's happening, but Mr. You know who voted twice himself by mail.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they do it at the end, and I'm like, that's right, call it out.
Steffi, I think so. There's a couple problems with when it comes to making changes to our immigration system. It's because of the way things are working right now. So if, let's say, the Democrats win the House, do I think that if the Democrats win the House, something will get put together? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. If we don't have a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate, I don't think it would get through the Senate. I don't think the president would sign it. And even if we were able to get through the Senate and the president sign it, we definitely won't have enough to override his veto. So that is the problem that we are constantly dealing with when it comes to it. Do I think they will try and pass things? Yes. Yes, I do. We still have a situation where we cannot force them to pass things. He actually did say it. Got it on video. Literally, I played it earlier. He did say that.
Yep, you can listen to it. I have actually heard it. I think the first time I heard it, T played it. I want to say because he was on kind of late last night covering like some of the news shows, and that's the first time I heard it was last night.
So he was asked if he was concerned. He said he wasn't concerned, and then he said that he doesn't think about the Americans' financial burden at all.
And are you trying to split hairs about saying, so here goes that context? So because he said he wasn't concerned, that means he doesn't care? That's what you're trying to do with that? Is that what's happening right now?
Yes, he's trying to say that he's trying to pretend that not concerned doesn't mean he knows once the Iran situation is over, it will go back down again. How does that help anybody? No, it won't go back down, not to the point that y'all seem to think it will. Why does that mean he gets to not care about the fact that people can't afford anything or going into credit card debt to be able to pay for necessities because of his choices? He should absolutely care about it. Even if he believes what he's doing is right, the fact that he says he doesn't care about it, the fact that he like,
The fact that he's saying the inside things out loud.
But I think the problem with that though, Shadow, is he always has. He always has. He's always said the crazy shit out loud. And I think that's part of the problem. When I said earlier, talking about normalization, like they've normalized him just saying crazy shit out loud because he said crazy shit on The View several times. He said crazy shit with Howard Stern. He said crazy shit on that damn bus. This fella has been saying crazy shit for decades and it's been normalized. And then you get people like this in the chat who say, but that's not what he said. And then it's like that shit is crazy.
They're splitting hairs over semantics.
Dan,
believe me, I get it.
Dan, we aren't ending a 47-year war. We created a war, and we aren't paying a little bit more. If you are flying, you are paying 20% more. If you are buying fresh fruits and vegetables, you are paying 11% more. That's just in April. That's not even counting now. Gas and oil prices are continuing to rise. So no, we're not only paying a little bit more, and we aren't ending anything. We are ending nothing. We started it. We started it 47 years ago. It's because of us that it even happened. What happened back then even happened in the first place. We aren't ending anything. We are the problem. $8 eggs. Dude, how many eggs do you buy in a week? In a month? How many eggs do you buy?
Eggs are the fucking least of the damn problem. Because like you said, and the bullshit, like the fact that you have people like that literally just, that's, Kia Filter, you're on TikTok. Kia Filter, you're on TikTok. The fact that folks like do stuff like that, and I hear it all the time, and it doesn't fucking matter how much goddamn eggs are when you can't afford your damn health insurance and it's $1,000 more a month. It doesn't fucking matter how much eggs are when your gas bill is going up 50, 60, 70% a week. It doesn't fucking matter how much eggs are when your rent and your electricity and everything else is going out. Give a flying fuck about some eggs.
It doesn't matter what eggs are when you lost your health care because people are too obsessed with, I don't know, winning to actually care about people's ability to pay for health care.
Doesn't matter how much eggs are when people can't afford to put the gas in their car to get to their job, so they end up losing their job.
Or can't afford rent, or can't afford a car in the first place, or can't afford anything.
I'll say, like, I saw this amazing, but just to kind of throw some good news in the middle, and now I hate that I kind of came in on the middle and could have get it to rewind to find out where it was, but there's this program where they take cars that people either like donate or don't use anymore that are like broke down, and they kind of do like a double whammy where they teach young adults and like students how to work on them and repair them, and then they get them to people so that way they can have a job, maintain a job, so they can maintain a place to live, so they can maintain healthcare, that kind of stuff like that. I just think it's that kind of, if they kind of did that, if they did that program like countrywide, man, just imagine what helping people would, do. A little bit of socialism.
Not to mention, nothing this administration did caused egg prices to go down. Everything that this administration has done has caused all of the prices that have gone up to go up. The choices that they made have caused this. Tariffs cause prices to go up. Blockading the ability of 20% of the world's oil and most of the fertilizer and a bunch of other things to actually get out of where they come from caused this to happen. While the president has no direct ability to change the price of oil and gas, that does not mean that they do not have the capability to do things that end up causing that.
Can I throw out some personal good news?
Sure.
I was invited to join the It Takes a Village podcast team, so I have my first live stream with them today at 12:30.
Nice.
Heck yeah, with
Congratulations.
Danny.
I don't think she
What
heard
was
you.
it, Kia?
With Danny.
With Jess.
Okay.
So today I have Madaris Grant on at 12:30, and then I have Ethan Wetchelick on at 4:30.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Teach. I'm sorry. Yeah, Teach. A lot of people have lost their jobs in this administration. Between because the other thing, like I noticed, like yesterday, somebody kept talking about like all the big tech and like I know Amazon was cutting jobs and all that. Don't forget, you've got 17,000 people at Spirit that just abruptly lost all their jobs too. Like there's a whole, and not only that, people don't, you don't think about when you just literally cut off an entire airport, think about all of the vacations and places those people were planning on flying. If they couldn't afford to rebook their ticket on another airline, did they get their money back? You know, because a lot of places try to give you that bullshit. Well, that's not covered in your, you know, your wanting to get your money back. That's not one of the reasons. Think about all the Airbnbs that people rented and all the cars that were being rented, how it trickles, that shit trickles down and affects everywhere in the economy. Not only that, now those people are going to have to figure out how to now they've got to get jobs and they've got to find new places to work in order to maintain their homes and their health care and everything.
Vonda, is there going to be another depression? There is a lot of unknowns. I think if things continue the way they are going currently, then there is a very strong possibility. Yes. How long that will take will depend on a lot of things that we literally have no ability to know about, because it's not just our country that could or couldn't cause it. So Dems stop the Spirit. No, the Department of Justice stopped the merger, and that's not what caused the bankruptcy. But nice try, Ricky. Are we in a recession? I would say yes. I think a majority of the country is dealing with recession in some way, shape, or form right now. I think it's being hidden by the people that have most of the money, which is one of the reasons it's getting worse. You're seeing the numbers of you're seeing credit card debt explode. You're seeing the number of mortgages going into default skyrocketing again. I've seen a bunch of people talking about the AI bubble popping. There is differences. I agree with them to some extent. I'm more worried about it than they are. Just because a lot of people are comparing this AI bubble to the tech bubble of the 2000s. It's a little, it's slightly different. The .com burst was literally people throwing money and just assuming like profit would come, where there's money being thrown at AI, and AI technically does have the capability, like it's being thrown in a way that technically could bring in funds. So it really depends on what ends up happening with it as it goes on. I hear you, Aaron, and I'm nervous about it as all hell.
I know, like, because I didn't, that wasn't something, but like RTP did like a deep dive and he played like a video, and this person that knows a whole hell of a lot more about it. The reason why it's so dangerous is because, like what Aaron just said, there's a ton, they're literally just throwing money in a top of each other, trying to boost up their stocks, and they're making it all seem like it's all doing really good. But RTP said the same exact thing that, and so did the whoever the gosh, I wish I knew who the expert was that went into the deep dive. I mean, they had the charts and they had the pictures and they did, made it break down so I could a lot more easily digest it. But they said the exact thing. They're bleeding money with the
Yep.
amount of money it costs to run the data centers and doing all the things. They're not truly making money. And if it does, you're right, Aaron, if that does pop, I think it's different than like the tech bubble in that way. And
Yep.
because if it does pop, we are in trouble because there is a ton of fake money tied up in that shit.
If it gets worse in the next few months, I think people are already starting to pull out of their 401ks. People are already starting to do it. Unfortunately. So yeah, will it get worse? Yes, Emmeline, it will. And no, I'm not invested in cryptocurrency. I don't invest in fake money. Yeah, they are, James. Again, you can find this data. Like, you can find the information. Just saying no, they're not. Why? Because you don't know anyone that is? That's probably why. That's a dumb statement. And again, countries across the world are starting to struggle, not just because of what's going on in Iran, but because of decisions that they made years upon years upon years ago, that things like the war in Iran are starting to bring those cracks to light even faster. Why is the president visiting China? I think both countries are in trouble, and both presidents are corrupt pieces of shit.
But you know what though, Mike? I really think because he thinks, he talks about how she's his friend and everything like that. Regardless of all that, I really truly think that he thinks if Billy Badass himself goes over there, that he's gonna make them bow down and do whatever he wants. Because still China is like one of Iran's biggest allies. So I think he thinks that when he gets there, that he's gonna be able to man them into doing whatever he wants to, and
Sure.
just like running roughshod like he did over Venezuela. I don't think he realizes like you ain't got shit on. China's not just some little podunk country that can't fight back, and that they don't have the weapons, resources, and the means to be able to do so. And I think he thinks he's going to go over there and he's going to get everything he wants. And I think he thinks it's just going to be that easy. A whole bunch of them went OC.
Yeah. The head of NVIDIA went. What is happening in Nebraska? The Dem is dropping out for the independent. Yeah. So it sounds like the person. So the independent that's running is the same independent that ran the last time a Nebraska Senate seat was open, and sounds like the Democrat ran in the primary just to drop out to try and push all of those people to hopefully vote for the independent. I don't know.
I heard about that. I heard about that yesterday, something about that they were dropping out to make it. But I don't understand. Like, all the money and everything that gets put into running your campaign, all the people that are working for you, all the people that volunteered, all the people, unless they all knew from the jump that's what you were going to do, I'd be pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
If I put my time, effort, and energy into getting you elected, thinking that you were going to be the one that you were going to be the person that was representing us, and then you just literally jump ship.
Mm-hmm. Again, this is why I and so many others are doing what we're doing. I
How
just
did
hope.
Nebraska? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Shadow.
This is exactly part of why we are doing what we are doing. It's to root out things like that, to find out who we can actually put our faith in and who we shouldn't, because there are going to be people who are running that are going to end up jumping ship, and they're going to be good at lying to us until they're not.
Question comes is, will we hold them accountable?
We need to.
And I think that's one of our biggest issue. It's like with everything, there's like no accountability. Motherfuckers are in there doing all this stuff, and we see them doing all this stuff, and it's like, if we see it, how can the people that are supposed to be in charge of stopping that? Oh, that's right. You fired almost all of them, the people that are supposed to hold people accountable. But it's like, it's so fucking frustrating. It is so frustrating.
My understanding.
Absolutely, it is. Listen, y'all, I'm just gonna make a point here. Is y'all just have some sense, okay? I know Mike has talked several times about not being being independent and all this good stuff. And listen, I can tell y'all that but I've never been swayed by the letters. Okay. I've always, when I have voted, and it's not been a long time, okay, I'm a recent voter, I can tell you that. Um, and I'll be honest, it straight up was because of Trump. I was like, I know better than to not speak up when somebody like that is trying to take hold of the country. But let me say this, just have some sense. So when you come in, when people like Dan or whoever, all y'all come in here with all that crazy stuff talking about, oh, the Dems did this and the Dems did that. Well, listen here. If the Democrats was the ones that did it, that's exactly who we'd be talking about. But currently, they're not the ones doing it. Guess what? And there's a history of it. We can look historically and know. Guess what? Why do you think a lot of black people supported the Republicans when they were first on? Because they were using their brains to some degree, right? And Democrats wasn't. But then it switched and it flopped and it flipped. And so now we're siding with the people who are having some sense. And that's what we've always done. And we're asking you to do the same. Nobody thinks that you're jumping your quote unquote, your tribe of violent. But if your people are out here doing something that they don't have no business doing, don't be riding with them. Don't try to be like, oh, the other side. It don't matter about what the other side. It matters about what the current people who are in power are doing. And like Mike said, and like Kia is saying, like what Shadow was saying, hold them accountable, hold their feet to the fire. If they come in there and start acting crazy, you're like, hold up, that's not what we're about. You need to get on out of here.
And be involved in the primaries. This part of the reason that we got to where we are is because there is a large group of people. So there's two large groups of people. There's one large group of people that just don't vote for whatever reason. Some of them are valid potentially, and some not so valid, at least in my opinion. And then there's the other group that just likes to flip-flop, that just goes back and forth between Republican and Democrat based on how they feel the last person with whatever letter they had next to their name did. We need to stop that. We need to stop that. You want to hold someone accountable, hold them accountable in the frickin' primaries, because that is when it is the best time that is the time that you can hold them accountable the most. And we need to get out of that. Because again, 15 to 25% of voters vote in the primary. That means that 15 to 25% of voters decide who your choices are every single year.
One of the things I'm doing is with all the candidates I'm interviewing, I'm eliciting a promise from them is if they get elected, they will continue to have interviews with me. On top of that, I've already decided being a licensed massage therapist working on my licensure in DC is I will go out there twice a year. I'll work on them and I will have interviews face to face with them and I'll hold them accountable. That way they can hold everybody else in Congress accountable. Because you know what? If that's the way it's got to go, then that's the way it's got to go. It's got to start somewhere.
I love every bit of that, Shadow. That's absolutely incredible. And on the side note, if you need anyone to practice on to get your massage therapist hours in, your boy is I volunteer as tribute. Just saying.
I was
Everybody
right. Tell me I
volunteer
was
with
right.
tribute.
Say it, Mike. Tell me I was right. What did I say they were gonna come in here and say? Please say it.
You know we watched the whole video, Casey, right? Like, we listened to it before you got on here. We listened to it, not out of context. Bar gerrymandering.
Agreed.
Totally agree.
I think we do need to switch to a ranked choice.
I don't even think that there should. See, again, the problem is with the way we do elections as a whole is technically, and I think people don't understand it because a lot of us have grown up in a society where in a time where more democracy has been given to us. So I don't think we realize it. Nothing has actually changed. The DNC and the RNC can choose every candidate if they want. They don't have to ask anybody, technically. They don't even have to ask people that are in the Republican Party if they don't want to. They could just straight up decide both. And they have. In 2024, the North Carolina, the New Mexico decided to make a voting primary, get rid of the caucus. The Republican Party said, no, we don't want to. In context of Iran policy, not just not caring. That's not caring. He says, I care more about Iran than I do about the financial burden put on Americans. That's not caring.
Yeah, you didn't hear any leftists out here talking about how awesome it was. And I think it's also that's such disingenuous bullshit though, because we know why everything was so high. Like it's crazy how everybody wants to blame Biden for everything that happened under C-19 while totally dismissing the fact that it got as bad as it did because of the person who was in charge before Biden. Wait a minute, who was that? And the fact that they downplayed it and just let all the bullshit happen. They always like to forget about that part. And they always want to throw in Biden. Like, be for fucking real.
Why don't you bring up when inflation was 12%? Why do you always bring up Biden? Oh, because you don't really care. That's why. Because to you, it's a game. To you, it's a sport. To you, it's only about winning and losing. Well, to the people that are suffering, that can't afford to survive, it's not a sport. It's called survival. Maybe you should learn some humanity and empathy. By the way, I do find it ironic that that Melania said that talked about how empathetic the president is, while he goes on to showing like no empathy whatsoever for the American people and the suffering that they're going through. I mean, I'm not surprised, but I do find it funny that just a week and a half ago, they're like, he's the most empathetic person ever. And now he's like, what do you think about all the financial burden? Oh, I don't think about it at all.
That part. And how somebody had asked, I think it was Aaron on the other side a while ago, how Nebraska ended up going last night. Did the Dems make some pluses and stuff?
In
Because when they were
primaries?
when they were talking about whatever was going on, it is Nebraska, right? Whatever was going on yesterday, like all the numbers weren't in by the time the program that he was playing was done, so I wasn't sure.
I mean, it's just the primaries. I don't know if like more progressive people won their bids to get on the ballot. I didn't look at it in Nebraska. But it's just primaries, so it's not it's in the sense of I didn't look how many people went and voted. So
We can't say it's just primaries while out here telling everybody how important primaries
well, no,
are.
you were asking if the Democrats like did well. It's not a
Yeah, like the turnout and just
yeah. I don't
different.
know what the turnout was.
Gotcha. Maybe that's the thing. I sometimes in my head, in my brain, there's more thoughts and they just all go too fast and they don't always come out. That's why sometimes I have to clarify, not only just to you, but to myself too, to make sure that what I'm saying is making sense.
Was the only no West Virginia as well.
Yeah, I'm curious how the turnout was for that as well. That's the problem, Carla. As a whole, like our country has been just so reactionary. It's always after the fact. And that's why we're so far behind. That's why I have such a big issue with moderates, whether you're either side. I don't want to vote for moderate people, period. Moderate people to me this is how I look at it, and no one has to agree with me. That's fine. A moderate is totally okay with just letting shit be the way it is. Progressives want to make changes forward. Progress. When you progress, you go forward. And what's the other one? Starts with a C. Come on, y'all, help me. The GOP, what are they?
Conservatives?
Yes, that word. Thank you. The conservatives want to take it back. They want to take it back. They want to take stuff away. That's how I think about those three things. And I think like the moderates are mediocre, middle of the road, and they're just content. And I'm like, that's why we're here, because we just wait until bad shit happens. And it's, you would think that for the hundreds of years that bad shit has happened here, that we would have figured out, hey, maybe if we want to be better, if we want to grow and we want to do the things in the right way, that maybe what we need to do is try to get out ahead of stuff. Let's actually be visionaries. Let's actually do some things. I don't understand how we sit here and say that we're the greatest at shit. What are we doing? Bye, Candace.
See, Candace.
Have a good day. Yeah, Carla.
So in terms of so there are about 1.2 million registered voters in West Virginia. And in the primary, so about 25% looks like voted of the registered voters voted in at least for, I looked at one of the statewide races to see. So 25%.
I don't hear an echo, OC. Try going out and coming back in and see if that helps. And McCray, and I get that, but the thing is, if we keep talking about we want things to change, like if we don't vote, and I get like voting for, especially if it's somebody you think that can make some change, like I think that falls on everybody to do the research on who's running, because in order to make the change, like we can't just sit out, not vote or whatever and think that things are going to change from the outside looking in. We have to get people in there that are willing to make the change. And then it's like, okay, you get in here, and we also have to understand that just because you win doesn't mean you get to go in there and start snapping your finger and shit happens. That's not how it works. Um, but I think for sure, I think that there needs to be some changes up at the top of the Dem Party. The DNC needs to be gutted. I think it needs a whole refresher for sure. Because I think that the Dems that have been in control and the ones that have been sitting there, like they need to go. I'm just as much for them going as all the MAGA folks going.
25% is good in terms of average. So the average is 15 to 25% when it comes to voting in primaries. Now, that being said, there was 100,000 votes in the West Virginia. A higher percentage of Democrats came out in the primaries than Republicans. I don't know if that means anything, but about 30 plus percent of Democrat registered, assuming independents didn't vote. I don't know what West Virginia's voting, if they're an open or a closed primary. They use a semi-closed primary. You can pick either. So they do like North Carolina. So that's still
What
not.
just happened on YouTube? You just muted, like you completely froze, and then when it came back up, it shows that there was a message deleted by you, and I'm like, wait, what happened? Because it was totally frozen.
Yeah, a message came up that I am not repeating out loud, but it just happened to be while the freezing happened, so I'm okay with that.
I see it. Oh, the absolute fuck.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so again, so even if independents did come out and vote, which obviously is not, the percentage will be a little bit less. That's still between 25 and 33%, which is a little bit better. It would be lower on the Republican side. Could that mean something long term? Who knows? Who knows? We'll have to see. It still needs to be higher, but also we probably need more places to do their elections like California does, in the sense of everyone who qualifies runs, and you just take the top 2 or 3 or however you want to do it and do it all with ranked choice voting. I think that's what needs to happen.
That would be great. And for sure, if these states would stop taking away places, like I like y'all, like I was never so proud of some young folks. A lot of there's a few HBCUs in North Carolina, and they took the ballot boxes off of the campus. And a lot of folks, them students were out there protesting with their signs. They were making noise. They were getting loud, and I loved it. I love to see our young people speaking up and saying that it's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I just I think Jeffries needs to go
Um,
teach.
they would need a 3/4 majority to change the Constitution. They would need to have 3/4 of the state legislatures to change the Constitution, not 2/3. Ratification requires 3/4, which is why it's okay than that. I'm sure they want to. I'm sure they want to. Can they achieve that? Not likely. There are too many deep blue. I mean, you got to remember, that's 37 states.
I hope one of the things they put together though is if we are able, even if it's, and that's the other thing we have to get used to is we've been playing catch up so long where they've been playing the long game for a long time. And that's where I think that I can't say it without it sounding gross, but that's one thing I think that they're better at. They get behind one message and they work in secret for a long, they don't allow why should things like the laws and the Constitution stop? But not just that, the little quiet things they've been doing in the background for a very long time.
Mhm.
And I think when I hope that if we get, I'm going to say when we get, just to speak it into existence, that when we get to that point where we can get in place and we can expand the court and we have the trifecta, that we start taking what SCOTUS especially has been doing and start codifying stuff into laws that can't be touched every single time a president comes in to office. Like there's things that we need to be working on, and I hope that they take that shit seriously when that happens.
Plus, Rosa, you'd also need you'd need a majority, like the equivalent of a filibuster-proof majority in Congress in order to pass it too, which is very unlikely in our current system. It's one of the reasons things need to change as a whole. The way we are set up makes it. You are going to see, no matter in the grand scheme of things, barring us doing work on getting people in the states in office, we're going to see the federal government do very, very little in terms of passing key legislation. Barring someone getting a trifecta and getting rid of the filibuster so they can pass things.
And I'll say this, and Linda, it is to me, why I say quietly, it's because they have been working for decades. You figure, like I said, I was born the year that Reagan was elected. Okay. And so like literally my whole life it has been alive under the, trickle down bullshit and all the other things. And they have been working quietly. I think here recently they're starting to be a lot more loud. And I say recent since he came in the first time. I think they've been more loudly doing it, but they've been working on stuff and tearing shit apart quietly in the background because you don't want to know why it was quiet, because people weren't paying attention. If it wasn't affecting them, they were okay with not talking about politics. We don't talk about politics here. We don't do that kind of stuff. And that's why I say quietly. Because for too long, people kept their heads in their sands because they were fucking comfortable and it didn't affect them. And they were okay with the fact that it didn't affect them. As long as they were allowed to just live quietly and live their life as comfortably as they wished, they were okay with it. And I think that's what the difference is now.
Etiquette and decorum for a long time dictated you did not talk about politics in mixed company and you did not talk about politics in quote unquote polite company, meaning you didn't talk about politics at the dinner table.
Yep. Yes. Justice Roberts has a long documented history of opposition to the VRA. Yep. Which, I mean, yep. Which is why people on this panel that come up on this panel, their lawyers have said that we're pretty confident that what what decision came through was going to happen because of the long opposition to the Voting Rights Act of 1965 that Justice Roberts had.
You know, Vonda, I want to say yes, and then I want to say I don't want to say but. That I try to be very mindful when I say that word but. It's deeper than the politics. It's not just the politics. I think that's why the families are separating, because it's not so much about we're disagreeing with policies. Like when I think about yes, Vonda, you see how my brain is like trying to process that? But I think it's the dismissiveness of the dismissal of human rights being violated. I think it's the racism that's coming out, the misogyny that's coming out. I think that's I think it's those folks um like what do you say here, Mike, that
Difference in
like
fundamentals.
yeah, like their fundamentals are being challenged, and I think that's more so what it is.
I think what you're seeing is politics has gone from let's have a talk about what an economy looks like. Let's have a talk about whether or not we're spending money the way we should in government to to having to making politics being about who people are. And
It's
and it's not about it's not about this, it's not about society, it's not about this country anymore. It's about it's
ethics,
what, I
morals,
can't even think of the words.
values.
Go.
It's about ethics, morals, and values. That's what it's come down to. It's no longer just about policies and topics. It's about the actual core person who is running on that platform, whether or not they're going to follow through with what they're saying, because it's no longer about, okay, well, that guy believes in this and that guy believes in that, but they're both kind of the same, with policy wise. No, now it's complete and total, like different ends of the spectrum. It's gotten to the point where it's a pendulum, where it keeps swinging from one side to the other in extreme. There's no middle ground anymore.
And as long, and again, this comes to an extent, this also comes down to this idea of identity politics. This fact that we want, so many people in this country have been taught to identify with any group of people that, and do it so much that they've literally learned to not care about other human beings if they don't align with their identity. Not even actually spending time to learn about the people, what they care about, who they care about, any of that. It's all about, I mean, when people come in and say, Democrats, X, Y, and Z, they don't know what a Democrat is or what they actually stand for. They're told on TV what it is, that they're told by whoever that they need to hate anyone that calls themselves a Democrat. Because what happens, what I'm noticing, especially interviewing a lot of people that are running for Congress or governor or whatever, is people they talk to, they realize don't, like, we, as I've said before, we agree on a lot of stuff. And yet what people care about the most is whether or not you is about the LGBTQIA community or DEIA or their racism or all these other things that are being attacked right now in this society. Or immigrants. Those are the things they have been convinced matter most. And they're using the government, who should not be involved in that, but has the ability to cause the most damage when it comes to all of that, as their identity. I don't even think it's they want to go back to 1934, Vonda. I mean, maybe some do. I can't speak for all of them. I think there are a lot of people that, again, I've said this before, the internet has caused, the internet and the things that have grown from the internet and technology and computers and things like that have created a society that is a lot more complicated. Our ability to access other cultures, other people, has made things more complicated. And when things get more complicated, we have a lot of people that don't like complicated. Complicated confuses them. When they hear about all of the things that are going on in the world, or when they hear about the new medicines or the new technologies or the new anything, their brains can't comprehend it because they didn't grow up they didn't grow up processing these things. They're older, or there's a lot of possible reasons. That's why you see people get frustrated to the point where they don't care enough to want to learn, because it doesn't make sense to them. And again, that goes with the loss of empathy, right? This idea of the need to fully understand. And if they can't fully understand like they used to be able to, then that problem must be that thing. Problem can't be me. The problem must be that thing. And you see it in the way they respond to things. When we're talking about the medication that people take to prevent themselves from getting horrible diseases. If you look at people and all of the conspiracy theories that come around it, it's always someone said something in such a way that their brain they feel like their brain can understand it. And because they feel like their brain can understand it, that must mean that is right. Doesn't matter if it's really right. Because their brain can connect the dots, that must mean it is right. And if I can't connect the dots, that means somebody is trying to get something past me. That's what we're dealing with right now.
It's a bunch of incompetent, mediocre folks running around, punching down, kicking down, blaming down on the people. And it's like, and you get people like the folks that have come in here and chat today. And it's like the fact that you are blaming immigrants or poor folks or anybody else other than the people that have all the money. Like, do people not understand like how much like the top 1% of this country owns in wealth in this country? Just the top 1%.
It was really interesting, and we've talked about this other podcast, Necessary Conversation. Haven't liked it, and it was getting worse. Two things have happened that have been very interesting. So, one from a good overall situation, and one and it's never going to be a good situation, but I think a good outcome, quote unquote, is going to come from it, at least in some sense. One, the mom sat down in an episode with a member of the trans community and was able to ask questions and interact in a way that was surprising. And I think, again, the fact that so many people believe that they know people that they don't actually know, because all they're doing is getting their information from something on TV. But she got to sit down and talk, and it was like, they didn't realize they didn't realize it because they never have interacted with someone like that before. But also, the dad went in the hospital. I don't know the exact issue that ended up coming from it, but went in the hospital, and basically the mom's like realized how bad our current medical system is because of it, and how we need to fix it. And it's like, oh, Paul. I was like, somebody, just an idiot. But yeah, it's, again, and we've said this, everyone is going to start understanding, realizing how, like, the realities, most people are not going to be able to escape what is coming. The question is, will enough people realize it in time to fix it? Like, what level of suffering we as a country will have to experience will be decided by how quickly those people, like different people, realize that there's a problem. The answer is no. I mean, people will realize it. People
Can you
will.
ask what you asked again? I'm sorry. The dog started barking at the trash truck.
I said there's going to be suffering. How long it will take, like how long it will take and how much suffering will be dependent on how quickly people realize it and change, learn, whatever is necessary to go against the direction the country is going. There is no escaping the pain. There is pain that's going to happen no matter what at this point. I mean, just what's going on in Iran is going to cause pain in this country no matter what. There is no escaping it. None, unfortunately. And, you know, there are people, again, are they going from the amount of support that they've gone to, they were at, to, you know, changing? No. You got to remember, these guys have been brainwashed in many cases. You don't just flip a switch on brainwashing. When I say pain, I mean financial pain, economic pain just as a whole, and potentially worse. I mean, we are seeing it. We are seeing people that are feeling like they have been pushed to the brink and are doing some things that are dangerous for a lot of people. Anyone can be brainwashed, but some of it's over time. Like some of these people have been taught this since they were a kid. They didn't go into it thinking I'm going to be brainwashed. They literally grew up with it.
It's become normalized, and it's an indoctrination. And until both, I guess, that you start to question things, sometimes, you know, especially when you're younger, you don't think to question the people that love you supposedly and care for you and do all the things for you until you start to see things differently. And I'll admit, like, even before I understood, like, a lot of things just felt different to me. Like, people would say stuff and I'm like, that just doesn't feel right. Like, I don't understand that. But not everybody has that kind of.
But yeah, Rosa, I don't think this is different. I mean, obviously there are differences. There are always going to be differences. It's a different world. But we are at a point where we've got two different groups of people. One group of people has grown up with things like the internet and stuff like that, and one that still remembers a time and interacts and would rather interact with a time where the internet didn't exist. And that's what we are experiencing. That's what we are dealing with, is we're dealing with two different groups. I remember growing up in a bubble of a world like that. I didn't know what happened. If it wasn't for the internet, and it wasn't for my desire to be online, I could totally see myself still being in that bubble and never having interacted in the way that I do now, and never changing potentially. Not because I specifically wanted to be, but that was the world I literally grew up with.
And you have to keep in mind, people have to deconstruct from whatever they've been indoctrinated into. And a lot of it, especially in middle America, it has to do with religion. It has to do with voting a certain way because that is how everybody in your parish votes.
See, I don't believe, I actually disagree, Rosa, that there's easy access to the truth. As someone who spends his entire day in sometimes trying to find the truth, it's not easy. It's not. There's so much misinformation out there that it is almost harder, potentially. I wasn't doing what I was doing, 20 years ago. So it's actually, I can't totally compare it, but to say it's easy to access the truth, it's not. It's not. You have to know how to do it. All the information is out there, but to say it's easy, especially for people that don't know the internet, haven't been taught how to do things like searches, all of it, and that's on purpose. I mean, for the people that don't want the truth to get out, sure.
No, what you're saying, how the information is this hard. I'm getting ready to have to go because I'm getting ready to go live. But what you're saying is they're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Just like the fact that they and in my brain, I'm sitting here thinking what grand jury would okay that? Trying to come up with, indictments against these newspapers and stuff, trying to get sources, trying to get all that stuff. Y'all, what Scott said, Scott was right when he was like, what they're going after the media, but you're right. It's on purpose. They're making it on purpose hard. All that misinformation is out there on purpose, because in that way it's really easy for those of us that are not willing to question, to ask why, and to push back. There are some people that are just they're more malleable to others to the misinformation, and the fact that it is harder to dig into and to find the truth versus what's not the truth, that makes it easier for them to say, see, it's out there, you can find it, you can Google it.
I mean, and also, fear and pain are great avenues for brainwashing and indoctrination and all that stuff. Purposeful ignorance. I don't think a lot of it's purposeful. I think there are a lot of people that are just trying to survive. And if you are just trying to survive, you have to be convinced that it's worth the time and effort to try and learn how to do this. Again, you're talking to someone here who does this every day. And there are days where I want to stop because it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's not easy. And I'm not trying to justify their crappy their actions and saying, just give them a break. No, we shouldn't give them a break. We need to hold their feet to the fire. We need to sit 10 toes down on this stuff. But we also need to understand that we're not going to just get a switch. You're not going to get a switch flipped. Do I think it's normal? No, but I don't think a lot of things in this country are normal right now. See you, Kia. Normal is out the window. I think we are experiencing the crashing of two different worlds. I think we are seeing the results of people that have grown up. Of course, Kim. I'm glad you liked it. I'm actually going to be posting another one probably in another week or two from another person who's running in that district. We're experiencing. So what person with a morality or empathy, cognitive function would support this other than? Thank you, Kim. What person? So again, if you're asking me, Rosa, I don't know how you could. But I do know people that have spent 60 years in the church and have been taught that the only people you can trust, since they were a kid, that have been taught that the only people and the only place you can trust is the church. They avoid because they've been told the outside world is the devil and is controlled by the devil. That's what they've been taught. That is what they've been taught for 60 plus years. You don't just switch that off. Again, not excusing them. We need to understand what we are fighting against. We are fighting against a level of indoctrination that does not. You're right. You are right. I think a lot of things the church does oppose what it means to be a Christian. That doesn't change what we're fighting against. We're fighting against that reality. We're fighting against 60 years of being told that. As someone that had to deconstruct out of that, there were lots of struggles that I had mentally, pushing through, fighting through these. And in terms of where I was in my Christian walk, I was already pretty progressive. I was not very conservative ever. I can't imagine someone who grew up in an ultra conservative church. I can't imagine, or I can, just knowing what I went through. Again, this is all hard. Everything that we're doing here, we need to keep doing. We need to keep fighting against it. We need to keep speaking out against it.
So my great aunt Jeannie, she joined the church when she was 19 as a nun. She passed at 96 about 3 or 4 years ago. One of the things that she taught me is that there are various different sects of the church. They are not all the same. The sect she belonged to, believe it or not, believes in birth control and condoms. They believe women have the right to choose what goes on in their body. They believe that women have the right to an AB. Yeah, there are actually Catholics that believe that. There's a whole sect of them. Why? Because they are pro-life, but pro-life that's already here, which makes them, of course, pro-choice. But it's just one of those, understand that there are different branches, but there's also the ones that are heavily, heavily conservative and religious, and you don't believe anybody that is not part of your parish. It's across the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of them that right now, I am watching a lot of the older generations who's in their, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, deconstructing from what they've always been taught because they realize, and it's starting to finally hit them, that everything they've been taught may not have always been right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for them to even admit that to themselves because understand, that is admitting that everything about you that you know about yourself is wrong. And you have to figure out who you are and you have to rebuild yourself well into your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 40s. It doesn't matter. We're finally starting to see people deconstruct, and that's the important part. We should be proud of them for deconstructing and continue to push them down the right path.
So here's the thing, Rosa, and we'll probably end with this. They do read the Bible. They read the Bible a lot. Every single one of us who is religious, at least Christian, but probably any religion, interprets and reinterprets and justifies and what we read in the Bible based on how we view the world. It's always happened. It has literally always happened. The way the Bible has been translated, the way the Bible has been interpreted. There's a really great biblical scholar named blanking on his name. I'll find his name. But he says that we just as people, because of how we work, we have to read the Bible in a way that makes sense to us. It's so again, there is no constant understanding of what the Bible says. I believe that how I understand the Bible is correct. They believe how they understand the Bible is correct. There is a difference between this is a difference between understanding why they believe what they believe and trying to help them work through it and trying to give them a free pass. I don't want to give them a free pass. My goal is not to ever give anyone who has caused the suffering of so many people a free pass. But if they truly are willing to come in and do the work to deconstruct, I'm willing to help. I'm willing to help walk them through it. As long as what they're doing is not actively hurting people at the same time.
I'm also going to throw out there that multiple popes have stated that it is up to the pastors to interpret the Bible the way they see fit for their flock.
But again, and you're right, Mike, it does clearly say that. And again, to me, yes. But I know there are people that have been taught that everything in that only encompasses the people of the church. And this is where the danger happens. I would call like Christian nationalists, people like that, religious extremists for that reason.
I would have to agree with that.
That's just a reality. And again, I want to point it out there again. In no way am I justifying any of those perspectives. We do need to understand why they think this way if we want any chance of moving forward, because they are still a part of this country and we need to understand it, even if we don't accept it in general conversation. There's a reason if you come in here and I say you don't understand, you don't align with my fundamentals, you won't get to take a part in things. That's not, you can sit here and say I'm deconstructing, I've realized my wrong, but if what your statements say go against my fundamentals, you won't get to be a part of this conversation. Because that's a line no matter what. So none of this is easy. This isn't life is not black and white. There's a lot of nuance to all of this. And I also understand that depending on the experiences and stuff that you've had, you may or may not be able to interact with people that I can as a person who looks like me and has been in the church for 47 years. And that's not to say there are days where I wonder how long I can even stay in the church. There's still days I wonder that, because there are still things that happen that make me have to have long conversations with people about whether or not I can keep doing it, because there's big problems. There's big problems going on, and it's things that people in the church that call themselves Christians need to figure out. It's nothing easy. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for the likes, the shares, and the gifts. It means so much to me. Please make sure if you're over here, get your points. Make sure you follow over on the tube. Watch the videos over on the tube. put out a new one today from Florida. There's a lot of cool people that are going to be coming, and I'm starting to schedule people again now that I'm starting to catch up on the videos. And as I said, follow over there because there's going to be some goals over there, and if I hit those goals, there will be a giveaway. And for people that I think it'll be a giveaway that we all can appreciate. So, yeah, and you'll hear more about that next week. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow morning. You guys are amazing just the way you are. I love you all very much. Stay safe, stay healthy. Remember to sing, laugh, dance, smile. Do something that makes you happy. Get some vitamin E. Sunlight. It's good for you. Bye, guys.
Come watch my stream at 12:30.
Yes, that too. Bye.